for Lynn to start. She's on already. She's so good. All right. So that song, You're Gonna Be Okay by Brian and Jen Johnson, it reminds me, it makes me think now back to times of deep darkness and how, I didn't know I was going to be okay then. And I love songs like this that just clearly state is the light is truth, not that darkness. So thank you for letting me share that. And now we're going to go into reading John Mundi, A Course in Mysticism and Miracles. Begin your spiritual adventure. Um, we're on chapter 15, The End of Time. A few pages in. If you have the book, I'm on page 167. I'm going to start at the top there. It's at the center, a quote from the text, chapter 1. By recognizing spirit, miracles adjust the levels of perception and show them in proper alignment. This places spirit at the center where it can communicate directly. And just a reminder, I know you all know this in the room here, Zoom room, but I'm not sure if the YouTube peeps or Pal Talk peeps might need a reminder that miracles are shift in perception. Like for instance, they happen all the time because I can even ask to see what a miracle is right now, and my mind had a thought to a past thing, and I immediately just asked again, and it said, they're happening all the time, because I can look upon anything, a cup, in a new way, because I've already placed what I think upon everything, everybody, everything. So I just ask to see everything in a new way, in a better way, in Christ's way. So that's what the miracle is to me. Because I've also realized that this is all individual. It's such an individual path that I don't know what somebody else thinks when I say something. I mean, I can have a conversation with something and walk away thinking we're both in alignment, and yet that other person maybe, oh, I don't like her anymore. Like they may have a totally different perception, or even looking upon a color, like how does one see that object or color? Like, I have no way to know that anybody sees anything the way I do. But what I do know is that a feeling, that feeling of love is consistent. It's evident. All the rest of it is just potpourri. That came into mind because I did a new playlist recently for potpourri for Lynn and Sharon. Oh, yeah. So thank you. And if anybody ever wants to comment, please do. You can just unmic or raise your hand, whatever you're comfortable with. I welcome conversation. So please do. Okay, so eternity is timeless. Love is timeless. God is timeless. We are timeless. Coming into time, we get caught in time. We get caught in our stories. We lose sight of eternity. The ego analyzes, spirit accepts. The ego analyzes, spirit accepts. And boy, oh boy, that is a good one, because if I'm ever in a situation where, oh, I don't know, like if I don't know what I'm feeling is overwhelming me, or if I get a thought and And it usually was attached with an anxiety feeling. What I've noticed lately is that has been diminishing. And the thought is there, and then the feeling isn't there. So I sort of just stand there and wait because it's not the same anymore for me. It's not like, oh, I don't even have a reaction. So I don't even do anything. And then it just goes away. It's quite uncanny, really, being in the process of it right now. And sometimes I wonder, my mind will say, "Oh, you're becoming disconnected or you're disassociating with yourself, which is psychologically not a good thing," and all this. And this sentence, the ego analyzes, spirit accepts, has just squashed all of that, even because that's all ego analyzing. It's still not the truth. And I know that because of those moments. So this is really deepening these teachings. It's not just words and, oh, yeah, I get it, in the mind getting it. It's really, I feel like I'm really living this. And I'm very grateful for that. So, okay. Aldous Huxley describes an experience he had under the influence of mescaline and, or under the influence of mescaline. I don't know what mescaline is. In The Doors of
Mescaline.
Perception. What is it?
Mescaline. It's a drug. It's a party drug. It's like people get high on it. It's the LSD, but it's not LSD. But it's like taking a drug like that. You get
Oh,
you you get you a certain type of high.
thanks, Rev Wayne. Trust the Rev Wayne to know that it's a party drug.
I've never,
I love you.
I've never done it, of course, but I know people who have done it.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mescaline, not mescaline.
Maybe
Mescaline.
I've heard it as mescaline. I've never heard mescaline.
There you go. So this fellow writes the book The Doors of Perception. So he writes, space, time, and distance, he said, ceased to exist. It's so funny. My mind just said, yeah, no doubt it ceased to exist, buddy. You were high. You were high, buddy. But then I think, well, are these drugs, what do they really do? Do they shift our perception for real? Like it just goes in, my brain can just go down a rabbit hole, but I'm going to read on. He looked at his watch and saw it as though it existed in another universe. He was living then in what he called the perpetual present. The perpetual present. The Course calls it present memory. Geez, I've never heard of that before. Present memory. Present memory is where God is. It is where love is. There is no guilt because there is no past. There is no fear because there is no future. There is simply an awareness that the will of God is one. Oh my God, you guys. What if it's what I experience in those moments where I'm waiting for that, the thought comes and I'm there standing waiting, like there isn't that reaction. What if I'm in the present memory and those times? That's exciting. And I've missed the chat here. Let me look. Ego streams, I don't have time to be timeless. I love that, Robert. I don't have time to be timeless. Total insanity. Um, and then I can't read that word, but it's from a cactus. Oh, mescaline is from a cactus, mescaline from a cactus, and it's natural. Oh, it opens the door to our inner being. Oh, wow. So that's cool. Thanks, Lynn. And then Robert says, does that mean it releases the unconscious? or something similar. And Lynn says, what else is there? Robert laughs. Thank you, you guys. I love that. Wow, that's so neat. Mescaline, lean, or whatever it is. It's a natural, it's from a cactus. That is really neat. And I love this present memory. I have never read, I don't remember ever reading about that in the course. So this is quite exciting. And then Eckhart tells us God and the soul are not in space-time. They belong to the realms that are intrinsically or essentially real. Time ends, he explains, where there is no before or after. We perceive only a shadow of the real, living in a world created and sustained by our own cognition. Mescaline. That's how you say it. Mescaline. That's the way it's said because I have it written that way, and that's how I'm saying it. Did I get it right? Mescaline. Mescaline. And as I'm saying it over and over again, and I'm thinking, no, it's wrong. No, still wrong. No, still wrong. And that makes me laugh because as soon as I speak, I'm wrong. The words are separation. So there you go. I'm wrong, and don't worry about it. If you know what I mean, then go with that. If you don't know what I mean, I guess
I've never taken it. I've never heard. I've always heard mescaline, but it could be mescaline. A lot of times you say things wrong your whole life. So how the heck do I know? You know, but if it's pronounced, if it's written that way, so maybe it's mescaline.
yeah.
That sounds kind of funny to me. Mescaline.
I like
Yeah, I
it.
like it. It sounds
Like
funny.
Mr. Clean, it sounds like Mr. Clean, mescaline. Lynn has taken lots of it.
Yeah, well, what did you call it?
Well, Lynn and Bob says he's not the authority on the pronunciation.
Oh, but he's
So
not,
just
huh?
everybody calm down, hey? We're not nobody's an authority.
We're getting on subject here, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, we're like
We always mescaline. Mescaline. I've never called it mescaline.
No,
It's called mescaline. And
yeah.
yeah, it is from a cactus. You can eat, they can refine it, or you can just eat the buttons from the cactus. And yes, you'll eat them, you'll start feeling it's one of those alkaline uh things that it actually yeah, it just opens up the door in your mind. So you're not you recognize you're not who you think you are. And if you ever read any of Carlos Castaneda's work, you would know all about it because I was really big into Carlos Castaneda for years and went out in the desert and did mescaline and spent a lot of time looking at the stars in the desert. And you know,
Mescaline.
because it will make you sick. You will puke. You will you won't feel so good for a few minutes, a little bit, but you know, then you will become aware that you are one with everything. Or
Right.
that's what's happened to me. So, and I've taken plenty of it. So
Right.
oh wow.
I know what I'm doing this weekend.
I'm like, geez, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to do that. I don't know. Yeah, I love it. That's so funny. And as Lynn was saying mescaline, I'm like, mescaline. So thank you. Oh, and Robert's wife is into Castananda. Nada. How do you say that?
Yeah, yeah, I
Castanada.
like it. He's good. He's good. I haven't read much of
Yes.
him.
Robert's wife's into him now. So uh Robert, I hope she's not too into him. Like, how into him is she? Like, is she doing mescaline or what's happening? Is she going into the desert?
hard. So if she's living in yeah, it'd be difficult to get real mescaline. I think you really have to come to the desert and
Right. The
people
gift
who
of cactus.
use it. So you can buy something in the city that's called mescaline, but I'm not sure it's the same thing. So anyway, enough
Yeah,
drug
I
talk.
know. It's okay. It's interesting to me. It's a little sidetrack and it's all good. I appreciate knowing that people know what it is and that it has opened their eyes. That would be a really cool experience, I think. And I think I have a book of his on my shelf, so which I never read, and maybe I'll pick that up. Maybe I'll read after this one of his books because we're nearing, well, I think well, I don't know, we're like at least I think I got about a quarter left of this book. Anyway, let's be here now and I'll read the book. Yeah, of our own cognition. I like that. And that makes me think of being a cog on the wheel. We're all cogs on the big wheel. The ego lives in time. The soul lives in eternity. The ego also knows, is afraid, that it will disappear. The soul, knowing that it is eternal, has nothing to fear. Yeah, and Robert says that his wife is an avid reader of Carlos Castaneda, and his head is messed up enough already, so he's good with the mescaline trip. Well, that's how I'll know how to say it, Lynn, is I know that Lynn has done mescaline, so it's Lynn at the end, mescaline. There we go. I got a way to associate how to say it. Okay, so the soul, knowing that it is eternal, has nothing to fear. When we don't have to live up to an image or be caught up in a personal drama, we experience eternity. Mystics know through existential experience that it is possible to be so alive in the moment that the past and future lose significance. From this point of view, time is no longer a prison. The past is not a place of guilt. The future is not a place of fear. Sin, guilt, and fear locks us in time. But there is no sin, guilt, or fear in eternity because there is no time. Time and eternity are both in your mind and will conflict until you perceive time solely as a means to regain eternity. Time and eternity are both in your mind and will conflict until you perceive time solely as a means to regain eternity. Isn't that beautiful, you guys? Like, John just has this way of writing. I just love what comes out through, like what he allows to come through him. Like, he allows himself to be that vacuum. I know I used to write a lot when in my other life, I call it. All my lives I've lived because I feel like I've lived many different ones. So it's fun, you know? I find it fun. And I tell you, I knew back then, I didn't know A Course in Miracles, but I knew it wasn't me that wrote stuff. Because I would just be amazed when I would write things and I'd be like, wow, isn't that clever? But I didn't really, I was like, wow, like, how does my mind think of that? Or like it truly didn't, I didn't identify with that as being, oh, I'm special and I wrote that. Like I knew it was from somewhere else because I would just write. I would just type and it wasn't like I had future typings in my head, like if you're typing dictation, when you type and you look at the page and you type, and then you're reading the future words, it would just type, it would just come out like that's not attributed to this individual. I mean, it filters through my individual nuances and such, but that's just that flow. It's that creative life. So I love this. Time and eternity are both in your mind and will conflict until you perceive time solely as a means to regain eternity. And that's the course tells us it's to show us the blocks, the awareness of love. And this sentence to me sums that up too. In such, like, would anybody have any thoughts on it that they want to share, or should I go on? Just feel like that's just beautiful. All right, I'm going to go on. Every age, every culture develops its own, oh gosh, Zeitgeist. How do you say that? Zeitgeist. Zeet, Zeet, Zeitgeist?
Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist. Thank you. Zeitgeist. Every develops its own zeitgeist, its own morality, its own culture climate. It's not that one is right and one is wrong. They are just different. Over time, all societies mature, and what may have been a sin in one culture, homosexuality, for example, is not seen as a sin in another. Thorough absorbed, every generation laughs at the old fashions, but follows religiously the new. That's so funny. I never thought of it like that. We all laugh at, oh, remember the 80s hair, the big hair. But then I'm following the not big hair now. Wow. Okay. Let's go back to the word Zeitgeist because it's German. Zeit means time and Geist means spirit or ghost. It literally means spirit of the times. Thank you. It refers to the dominant cultural, intellectual, or moral climate of a given era, the general mood, attitudes, and ideas that shape a generation. For example, when we say the zeitgeist of the 1960s, we might be pointing to the spirit of social change, civil rights movements, counterculture, and experimentation that defined that decade. And that is thanks to ChatGPT. GPT. Thank you. Thank you very much, Robert. Very good. Another word I've seen but never said out loud that I know of nor really thought about what it meant. So very, very nice to have a little bit of intellectual stimulation today. So they're all different, and every generation laughs at the old fashions but follows religiously the new. What if we could jump into the future and look back to now? From that perspective, our present interpretation of reality might seem immature. But in fact, at any given moment, we can choose to see outside of time. In a holy instant, we can transcend a limited view. We can let go of the dramas, drop our personal histories, and in complete freedom, step out of time. According to the Course in Chapter 2, Only revelation transcends time. Only revelation transcends time. We can imagine a future existence without a body, but we cannot imagine any such existence without the mind. The mind is the determiner of everything. Heaven is here because there is no other place. Heaven is now because there is no other time. Franklin Merrill Wolf's study of Kant convinced him that awareness transcends the intellect and that we can achieve a realization of nothingness that is identical with our own self, capital S self. According to Wolf, to realize timelessness is to attain nirvana. Time moves. Eternity stands still. And in that stillness, the mystic finds pure presence. As the Course expresses in the text, chapter 4, being is a state in which the mind is in communication with everything that is real. Now, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Think of that in realizing what is real. The present is not a fleeting moment. We teaches. It is the only eternity. In time lies samsara. In the present lies nirvana. Samsara means suffering or sorrow. Nirvana means enlightenment. Time is linear, moving from the past through the present into the future. But the mystical relationship with the infinite is vertical rather than horizontal. Our relationship with God is straight up and down. It is here now, in the pivotal center, the only place it can be. Paul Brunton, author of the best-selling book, A Search in Secret India, once asked Ramana Maharshi, will the Maharshi express his opinion about the future of the world? Maharshi asked him why he troubled himself about the future when he didn't even know about the present. Take care of the present, he advised, and the future will then take care of itself. Take care of the present. And in that present moment, and taking care of that present moment, for me, that means if something arises, if a thought arises and I get a feeling that causes me anything but joy, then I can just look at it. I can look at it because the darkness is not going to overwhelm me. It's not going to overtake me. I can break free from that darkness. The I, capital I, like not just because it's capitalized, but a capital over the capitalization, if that makes sense. And so that brings me to the end of that chapter. And I think I know I have an hour and sometimes maybe I would go over it, but I feel very complete with that. I feel like I feel good about that. So does anybody have anything they want to share about the reading today from John, his book, A Course in Mysticism and Miracles? I was just thinking maybe the next thing I could read was maybe one of Robert's too. That would be cool. I just had that thought.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
Well,
yeah,
and John, um, in his book, The Missouri Mystic, I don't know if you read that one,
no.
but it goes into great detail, excuse me, doing the going with a shaman in South America and going through this mystical experience where he considers it a near death experience. Um,
Okay. Wow.
that he yeah and so it's really interesting. So it's in his book The Missouri Mystic, which is a good one as well, but one of Robert's books would be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might find something about Carlos Castaneda if you started reading his books. It might take you into place because I'll tell you what, as I read and studied his work long before I knew anything about A Course in Miracles or any other, I had been a Buddhist and understood that. But once I got into the that whole culture of Carlos, I began to realize, and there are a lot of people who still follow him, listen, read his books, follow him. And in fact, one time I was flying from, I think, I don't remember where I was, someplace in California. It was a short hop, and this guy, at one of the desert stops, this guy got on the aircraft, and I could tell right away. I mean, he was like he'd been in the desert for a while and he was dusty and rumpled, etc. Um, and I knew immediately that he was a follower of Carlos Castaneda. And so we had a great conversation on the aircraft. And that was, I mean, like I said, that was when I was working for the government. So that's been a long time ago. But anyway, thank you so much, Audsie. I'm going to go ahead and stop the YouTube. Um,
Yeah.
and
I do have an ending song if that's okay.
I'll stop the YouTube and then I'm putting something in the chat that you might it's just a little thing about the mescaline, so give you a better
Okay.
understanding of what it is. But I'm not going to read it out loud. I'm just going to close off the YouTube and thank y'all for hanging out with us, listening on the YouTube, and please remember to like and subscribe. And